The Japanese had just bombed Pearl Harbor, and the United States had declared war when the Brauntex opened its doors in January of 1942. Harold Ward was the manager of the Brauntex Theatre during the 1950s while they were showing such movies as The Glenn Miller Story, starring Jimmy Stewart. He reported that there were other theaters in operation at that time, but once the state-of-the-art Brauntex opened, no other could match it. A fire in one of the other downtown theaters, the Palace, made the opening of the Brauntex an even more welcome addition to the city. The Griffin Company, the original owners of the theater, copied the design from an earlier Oklahoma theater called the Washita. There were many highlights in those early days, such as the time that actor Pedro Gonzalez stopped by while he was filming The Alamo with John Wayne. Needless to say, the Brauntex was a staple in downtown New Braunfels for over 50 years. After the Great Flood of 1998, a group of concerned citizens realized that if the Brauntex were to survive, it needed a little help. The Brauntex Performing Arts Theatre Association was formed, took possession of the building, and immediately began the reconstruction. The association had a great deal of assistance as they began the daunting task of demolition, cleanup, and remodeling. Many volunteers formed the Brauntex Sweatshop, which was a group of ladies who sewed over 600 denim seat covers to cover all the old seats. The ticket booth still greets theater goers as they enter the lobby. The lobby itself has such a grand feeling, you can almost imagine Clark Gable and Vivian Lee traipsing down the stairs.
So one of the stories I think that's particularly interesting, and one of the early ones that I heard, had to do with the projectionist at the theater who had worked here for years and years and years and years. Very meticulous person, very organized, and everything was always put back in perfect order. Unfortunately, the gentleman passed away. And one night in particular, as the story has it, one of the projectors broke. And these two guys set about to repair the projector. And of course, they were using the tools that the projectionists had used before, and they were still quite well organized, but they were dusty and so forth. Along about midnight, they came to the realization that they just couldn't fix it and just left everything out so they could come back the next morning and pick up the task again. And when they came back the next morning, the story has it that all the tools were put back in their proper place on the shelf. They had all been dusted, but there was very clear evidence that that projectionist had paid a visit to the projection room and didn't like the condition in which the other two guys left it.